3, 2, 1. Hi. Hello, everybody. I hope it's working. Oh, just press it. Yep. Nope. There we go. Checking connections. Oh, we are so tech savvy.
Yes, something like that. Hi, everybody. We are here at All My Heart Bridal with Sarah Bronson.
Hi.
And we're trying too many things going on. We're on Instagram. Well, one of us is on Instagram.
Yes.
And Facebook Live
Got
tonight.
it. There we go.
There we go.
Perfect.
So,
looking good.
As always, we want to welcome you. Please make sure to jump on. We have our trusty little MacBook that we're going to check out your comments after our conversation. So leave your questions, say hello, and let us know what you would like to know about All My Heart Bridal. I should put on my phone.
Ooh, that would be good.
Need that.
But you have a very strong voice that carries, so I feel like even if you didn't wear it, it would still.
That's 20 years of
work.
DJing. That's what that is.
Oh.
Okay. So, tell us where you are in the city. We'll kind of do some chatter here before we get started into the deep stuff.
Yes, so we are located in Lee Summit, which for those of you who don't go south of the river is south of the river. I don't go north of the river, so like anything above that, I don't know where it's at. But we are right off 470 in Douglas, across the street from St. Luke's East. That usually is a pretty good indicator. And for those who live in Lee Summit, we're right next door to Waldo Pizza. That usually lets everybody know where we are.
There you go.
Yeah.
And just up the street from Lee Summit North, for those of you who have kids and may have been there for games.
Yes.
So, yeah. Okay. And the premise of your salon, for those that don't know.
Yeah, so our bridal salon is a little different because we specifically cater to curvier brides, sizes 14 and up only. And right now, we specialize in just bridal and accessories. So we're a little bit more unique in that sense.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, again, we want to back up from here we are sitting in your beautiful salon and tell us your backstory. Not the backstory of the salon, but tell us about Sarah. Where'd you grow up? And
well, when two people fall in love, Sarah is made. And no, I was born and raised here in Kansas City and spent some time in like the Maryland, D.C. area. Then moved back to Kansas City to graduate. Went to Stevens College in Columbia, Missouri, which is like the private all-women's college right next to Mizzou. And actually went to school for theater. I graduated with my BFA in theater arts and had every like intention to come back to Kansas City and be like the next Jennifer Aniston of my time. Obviously, that did not happen.
You missed the Brad Pitt, right? Reference
yes. But yeah, so I came back and I did, like some theater and a little bit of film stuff here in Kansas City, and quickly realized that acting will make you poor and student loans are really expensive. So kind of started getting like oddball jobs, and I worked at like a Starbucks at one time and was a passion party consultant and did nannying and worked in an eye doctor's office and so I've just kind of like dabbled in a whole bunch of stuff. But then my husband proposed to me. And naturally, I became like the best at wedding planning and decided that if I could plan my wedding, I could plan anybody's wedding.
which, by the way, is not true.
Not at all true. Planning your wedding, completely different than planning someone else's. But yeah, so I decided to become a wedding planner, and I just kind of went for it. And I asked my girlfriend, who was engaged at the time, if I could coordinate her wedding for free, just to see if I kind of liked it as much as I like doing my own. And of course she was like, yes, please. And did that and like fell in love with it. So that's when I launched All My Heart Occasions, which was a full-scale wedding planning company. And I did that, on the side at the same time that I had a full-time job. And that lasted for a while and kind of naturally took me to being the executive director of the Circle S Ranch, which is located in Lawrence. It's a bed and breakfast and wedding venue, which is where my husband and I got married. And so we went back to celebrate our 1-year anniversary, and it just so happened at the time that the owner it was looking for kind of like a coordinator or somebody to come in and help with all of their events and things like that. And it was like the stars aligned and everything just came together. And I was like, here I am for you. And did that for 2 years and then transitioned into this from there. So been quite a journey for me, I guess, when you kind of look at it in its entirety.
Yeah. And quite the learning curve from planning your own wedding into planning for other people on a professional level.
Yes.
Like, yeah, you can help a friend plan their wedding.
Absolutely.
But to charge for that service and get it right.
Yeah.
And,
it takes a lot. I mean, I think that, you know, when you find something that you love, it no longer becomes work. It becomes something that is like second nature to you. And I loved planning, and I still love planning to this day. I feel so comfortable in that zone. I did stage managing when I was in college, and so it was just a natural kind of transition from doing like a show to doing a wedding, because essentially it's like the same thing. You got to make sure that they walk down the aisle at the right time and the music plays and swells at the right time. So it was a really cool thing to do. And I think the one thing that I loved about theater and I love about acting is kind of creating those really close, intense relationships with people and having that, you know, mutual experience, and then it's over and you move on to the next project. And that's what I loved about wedding planning, is I got to just fall in love with these couples and meet their families and, you know, just be part of like this awesome celebration. And then the wedding's over and you just move on to the next one. And I loved it. But it definitely takes a lot more than just being good at doing your own wedding. That you learn pretty quickly, but it was great. And I still, like, some of the people who I planned weddings for were still like really close friends. So it was a fun experience. I loved it. Yeah.
So how did the transition happen from going from planning into owning a bridal salon?
Yeah, so I had no background in bridal wear whatsoever. I worked at a salon for like a couple of days, like a long time ago, and that was about it. But I planned a wedding for one of my brides who was about a size 20-22, and she was just this like gorgeous girl. Kind of put my confidence to shame a little bit, because she was just so outgoing and beautiful and strong and like super quick-witted and like everything that you dream you want to be but just aren't. Like, awesome girl. And I set up this whole day for her and her girlfriends and family to go dress shopping, and she called me at the end of the day and said she was able to try on 3 things. And knowing who she is and just the kind of personality that she has, and listening to her talk about how she was treated and what she experienced and just how crappy she felt, really made me angry. But more so, it really hit me on a deep level, because, you know, every girl, no matter what size she is, whether she's a 0 or a 30, like, they deserve to feel beautiful, especially, you know, when it comes to, you know, choosing your dress and kind of having that, you know, that very personal moment with your friends and family. And just listening to her talk about how that didn't happen for her was really disheartening. And so it just kind of jump-started me into doing more research about what was available for girls in the area, and if you know, were at a certain size or above, kind of what you had, and realized that there was just a really lacking, you know, kind of place where these girls could go and you know, have a good selection, not just a rack or a couple of gowns, or, you know, because it's totally different, you know, sizing up, but actually having samples for girls to try. And so just kind of going through that, that was like my last kind of like aha moment of like, this is something that needs to happen, and it's something that someone needs to do. So I will, again, like, I can plan weddings, I can open a bridal salon, no problem. It'll be wonderful. So
what was your biggest surprise in that process?
I feel like I had a lot, but I think my biggest one is just, I just wasn't sure how it was going to go, because we're the first of our kind in the area, and there are other salons around the U.S. that cater to curvier brides, and, you know, they saw tremendous success, but I just wasn't sure kind of how well it was going to go, and we kind of put everything on the line. So it was like, either it's going to go really well or it's not. And I think for me, just doing way better than what we had anticipated, and just the sheer amount of women who really responded so positively to it and were so welcoming was, I just think, the biggest shock to me.
Yeah.
I just was not expecting it. I was definitely expecting to, really have to, struggle a little more and really push, and just like we opened our doors and brides were like, oh my God, yay. Like that was pretty crazy to me.
Good.
So
Good.
Definitely a good thing to have, I guess.
Right. So where do you feel like, have you hit that moment where you're not afraid anymore?
Oh, no. No, I think anytime you put yourself out there, or, you put everything that you own out there, whatever it is, I think you're always going to be a little scared. And I still have those months, especially, we're next Tuesday will be our first official year in business. We'll be celebrating. I know, I'm so excited. And I think it's been, now that I've been through an entire year, I think it will be a little easier. But there were definitely months where I would go home like crying to my husband, like, the phone didn't ring at all today. Like, what happens? And he's just like, it will be fine. And I'm like, okay. So I think that you'll always be a little scared, but I think it'll get easier from here on out. Yeah. I feel much more educated than I did when I first opened. So that I think will help a lot too. Yeah.
What does your husband do?
He is the coolest guy ever. He works on cars for a living.
Yes.
And he used to have a shop where him and a buddy, they restored vintage cars. So he's a big car guy. We have lots of vehicles.
Yes.
And motorcycles. So if you're watching this, Tyler.
So do you rent out those vintage cars?
Oh God, no, I wish. No, they just, no, he owns them. They're like his children.
You need to pull one of those right into the salon.
I know.
Right here.
Right.
As a photo op.
Oh my gosh.
So
we
cool.
actually, so his dad owns, or had a really old Studebaker called Lucky Leroy. And it just so happened that the venue that we got married at had a vintage truck named Lucille. And so we got to bring the Studebaker out, and we have our wedding photos of our the Studebaker and Lucille next to each other, and
funny.
we're up against them, and it was super cute. But yeah, we have that. And then he just got a Vet, which is his toy car.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So he's an entrepreneur also then?
Yeah, he did. So. Yeah. Him and his buddy, they kind of opened up this shop from the ground up, and so I definitely got to see him, struggle as well, just working those long hours, and just really pouring your heart and soul into it, and seeing just how cool it felt to, for him to get the car done and to have the customer come and pick it up and be like, oh my gosh, was really cool. And so he did that. Now he kind of let go of some of the stresses of that, and now he does his 9 to 5, and I think he prefers that. He can just kind of go in and do his car work and then go home. So.
Well, but that sets it up so that he's obviously very understanding and sounds like supportive of you opening your salon. That helps.
Yeah. I have to say I am extremely lucky to have found someone who is just so genuinely supportive of all of the crazy crap that I decide to do, because he just I remember I was fresh out of college. My program was 3 years, 2 summers, and it was very theater intensive. So you live and eat and breathe theater. And so when I graduated and I didn't have that environment anymore, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many possibilities out there. And one of my brilliant ideas was I'm going to open up a cupcake place. Why? Who knows? No idea. But this guy goes to a cupcake place on the Kansas side and talks to the owner and writes down all this information and brings it home for me, babe, look what I got for you. And I'm just this is so cool. So he's just always, no matter what I decided to do, sometimes he'll look at you kind of are we sure about that? But in the end, he's always if that's what's going to make you happy, yeah, let's do it. And so it really did take a lot for us to kind of have that discussion of, if we're gonna go from having, we're both making good money and we have, reliable jobs, to kind of taking this venture, and he's always just been so on board.
That's great.
Yeah, he's my biggest cheerleader, which is really cool. So.
Yeah. So your biggest cheerleader, so who do you feel has been your favorite mentor?
Oh gosh. I would have to say in this process, Brittany Scott is the owner of Something White Bridal Boutique, and she has been the coolest person to just like talk me off the ledge, but to also be so open about her business and helping me figure out like what works and what doesn't. And even, I mean, I still remember just mentioning the idea of this salon to her in passing one day and saying, you know, what would you think of like if a curvy bridal salon opened up in Kansas City? Like, what are your thoughts on that? And she's like, oh my God, yes, do it. And I'm like, really? Okay. And she's just always been so great about just, she's been wonderful. And she's, you know, just to watch her, you know, and all of what she does in her business and how her business has just grown so beautifully has been really cool. And knowing that she's always been a huge supporter for me has been awesome too. Yeah. So that, yeah, definitely Brittany. You're really cool, Brittany. I really appreciate it.
So what's been your, do you have a favorite story of like a certain bride that came in and you were able to help them? And
oh my God, yeah. So I had a bride come in, and I think this is probably the one time where I've been so incredibly intimidated by a bride. You know, she brought in just a couple people with her, and she sat down, and, you know, we talked to girls kind of before we let them go and start looking through stuff. Just to try and figure out like what it is that they're looking for, kind of get an idea if she's tried on before, that kind of stuff. And so we're there and we're kind of chatting, and I'm going over paperwork with her, and she just looks at me and she's like, I got to be completely honest with you. I said, okay. And she goes, I would rather be anywhere but here right now. And I'm like, okay, like, don't really know how I'm supposed to respond to that, but okay, like, hopefully we can change that. Because we, you know, we always start off the appointment by saying our goal isn't to push you into a sale or, you know, make you buy something today. Our goal is to provide a, you know, comfortable atmosphere where you can feel beautiful and confident in your own skin. And if we can accomplish that, you know, whether you buy from us or whether you go somewhere else, like, that's what's most important. And so, you know, I that's what I said to her, and she's just like, okay. And I'm like, oh God, okay. And so we go through and we pick dresses and we go back, and, you know, I get her in one, and she doesn't really say much, and, you know, so I don't really say much, and she comes out and she gets on the box, and, you know, her family doesn't really say anything, and she doesn't really say anything, and I get the train all like put out, and I kind of walk up front. I go, all right, so, you know, what do you think? And she just sits there very quietly, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh my God, I look so beautiful. And I'm like, oh my, and like floodgates just, I'm like, oh my God, like, just like, I mean, and that is what it's all about. Like, that is this business, and like my philosophy to a core is that you deserve to feel confident and beautiful in your own skin. You don't need to change anything about yourself to look beautiful on your wedding day. And like, that, I think, was one of the most, like, it still gives me anxiety just like thinking about it. Like, it was definitely, it was a very challenging appointment, but I mean, when she found a dress that she just loved, I mean, she looked beautiful and found a perfect dress, and she's now one of like my favorite people to just like text and be like, hey, what's going on, girl? How's it going? So yeah, super fun.
Cool. So what's in your future?
Oh gosh, the possibilities are endless. I feel like I feel like this is still so young that there are so many different ways that we could go, and I don't quite know exactly what journey I want to take yet. I would love to, you know, if we're getting big, like Everest goal here, I would love to have a second store, you know, outside of Kansas City. About 20% of our brides come from out of state. We get girls who travel from all over the country to come and shop here. And so just being able to branch out and reach more girls and kind of spread our, you know, philosophy, I think would be really cool for me. As far as I'm concerned, I would love to just get more involved with like women entrepreneurs and being able to kind of share, you know, my story and my passion for creating a business that is so supportive of women and, you know, for women, and kind of help other women in that capacity, I think would be a really cool thing for me. But for the store, definitely like you know, just expanding and franchising maybe. I don't know, who knows, but that would be, right now I think my main focus is really just to reach as many girls as possible and to help as many girls and hopefully just keep letting, like, just tell people we're here, because there's still people who don't even know we exist. Like, I'm thinking, good God, how do you not know I exist yet? But there's still so many girls out there who have no idea. So,
well, there's 2 million people in Kansas City.
Yeah, that is
true. And it's interesting. You know, one of the things that a lot of people don't think about who aren't in our industry is a lot of times we're trying to reach a one-time client.
Right.
And so the marketing dollars are, I mean, you can just stand there and go like this all day, every day, because it's not like you're a restaurant that the people that you reach are going to come back over and over and over and over.
Right.
It's, generally speaking, you're going to sell, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully.
They're only doing it once.
Yeah, it's like, I hope I don't see you again.
And if I do, I'll be happy to, you know, help you. But I hope it all works out. So, yeah, so the idea there of being able to have then a secondary, like, you know, reaching and helping empower women. Do you have a particular organization that you favor right now that you work with?
Oh, gosh, no, not really. I mean, I think I'm still just trying to you know, figure out all of the, you know, different avenues in which that I can help. I will say the one thing I love about being in Lee Summit is that we have such an amazing, vibrant community here, and it is really, like, so supportive of small business, and I think that is such an amazing thing, because being involved in the chamber and just meeting other entrepreneurs in my area has been really rewarding. And you can never, like, I don't think I'll ever stop learning. You can always learn something new, whether it's, you know, listening to somebody talk about their experience, or, you know, listening to a coach talk about different ways you can improve this or that. I think there's always, you know, learning to be done. And so I really just love being involved in this community, and I think that if I could be involved, you know, in some aspect or in some regard in that way, I think that would be wonderful. So,
yeah. You know, they say that the success of any business is the mindset and the skill set of the owner. And it's 80% mindset and 20% skill set.
Yeah.
So always remaining open to that growth, and you know, is definitely always be learning.
Yeah. Well, and it's, you know, this industry in general, it's constantly evolving and it's constantly changing. So if you stop learning, you're just
dead in the water.
Yeah. I mean, you're not. It's not going to work out very well for you.
If you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so I think that there's always something you can do, and there's always something you can learn, and there's always new trends that are going to come out, and new designers, and all of that kind of good stuff. So
yeah. Well, not to distract from the big reveal, because of course you should come to the big reveal first.
Yes.
But
so excited.
Tell them about your show in September.
Yes, so I'm really pumped, because we are hosting Kansas City's first ever bridal fashion show, specifically for the curvy bride. It's called Get Your Curve On. It is Wednesday, September 13th, just right down the road on the rooftop of the Aspen Room, also known as the Stay and Lee event space, if you know the latter. But yeah, it'll be great. It's going to be a really good opportunity to view our bridal gowns, and then we've partnered with Bella Bridesmaids. They're going to bring over all of their curvy bridesmaids dresses and accessories, and you're going to see real women with curves on the runway, and we're going to have complimentary champagne and drinks and food and desserts and all sorts of amazing wedding vendors. The first 75 brides who register through Eventbrite receive a complimentary Knot swag bag that's going to have a whole bunch of, like, goodies and giveaways and treats and all that kind of stuff. So
love to Leslie, right?
Yes, Leslie. She's awesome. She too has been a very awesome advocate for the shop, and just been a really good supporter too. Yeah. So yeah, they're wonderful. But yeah, it'll be a really, really fun time, and we're super pumped to see how it goes. Like, it's kind of, I mean, it's the first time we've ever done it. It's the first of its kind, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm really pumped for it. It's going to be a ton of fun. Yeah. So yes.
Well, and just a side note for those of you who probably won't ever meet Leslie, because she's not a bride-facing person. She's our Knot rep that we love dearly,
and she's an awesome, amazing redheaded, like, animal woman. Yes. She's just like, she's hilarious.
A little warrior.
She cracks me up. Yes.
So hello, Carolyn and Meg. Thanks for jumping on. And Rosenia? I don't know who that is.
Rosina.
Rosina?
You know what? That's my stepmom and my dad watching.
Ta-da!
I knew they were going to check in.
You were calling a few minutes ago, weren't you?
I think she was trying to text, like, probably being like, how do I do this? And yeah.
That's great. Okay, well, again, I checked on for comments and questions, and we got a few comments, but no questions. So we'll go ahead and sign out. But Eventbrite is where you can get tickets for Get Your Curve On.
Yes, Eventbrite.
Okay, and Big Reveal is August 20th. Make sure you jump on and get tickets for that too. And thanks for letting us come out and see the salon.
Yes, thank you for coming out. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, thanks guys. Have a great night.
Bye.
I don't know how to stop that. You'll have to stop that one.